What do you see the future of the Big 12, and what is Baylor's role in it?
Right. Now let's roll up our sleeves and get at it.
Well, we feel...
Cancel your 10 o'clock. Go ahead. What is the future of the Big 12?
We feel very good about where we are in the Big 12. We'll be having a meeting at the end of this next month of the Board of Directors, our annual meeting. We meet, obviously, we're in conversation with one another. But by virtue of all 10 members of the Big 12 having put their television rights in for Tier 1 and Tier 2 until June 2025, for the next 13 years in effect, the conference is very solid and very stable. We have a very strong commissioner, Bob Bowlesby, who is AD and a very successful AD at Stanford. He's a great leader. He is articulating the word vigilance and remaining nimble. We're being very vigilant as to what's happening in terms of conference realignments. And then we'll be nimble with respect to the appropriate steps for the conference to take. But we feel good about where we are. And one of the advantages of the 10-person conference, the 10-member conference, is we all play one another. And it's a real conference. Yeah. We all play one another in football, and we play one another in double round robin in basketball. And the commissioner feels very strongly that that's a good thing. He thinks it's healthy. He was part of the Pac-10. He liked the Pac-10 the way it was, so he likes that. But at the same time, he understands we've got to be very aware of what is happening in terms of, because we saw what happened. When Texas A&M decided to leave, it started this entire national reaction. Right. So it's not just one university makes a move and then everyone else remains the same. May I say one thing? Please. The ACC just put, all of the ACC members just put all television rights in this last week. That is huge, because we do know that the Big Ten had its eyes on several ACC members.
So that solidifies things at the ACC.
And that's and I've talked recently with the presidents of Wake Forest and Duke just before that happened, and they were very confident that it was going to happen and that that would stabilize the ACC. That helps us, because if the ACC is stable in the East, the SEC, I think, will remain stable, and then I don't know where the Big Ten will go.
As a practical matter, President Starr, I mean, leaving aside all of the things that you've talked about, none of which I doubt, you're beating the tar out of everybody else in the Big 12. Why would you leave?
Oh, you mean if the Big Ten is trying to attract Baylor? Well, we like the Heartland Conference. I mean,
as a practical matter, why would you go? You know, by the way, it looks pretty good, by the way, right now. I mean, I might stay if I were you. You know? One
of the things that was lost in the conversation, we were lifting it up continually, is think about the student athlete. Think about the families. Where the student athlete is going to go. Can you imagine getting on an airplane and going to Corvallis, Oregon, wherever that is? If you're the tennis team, this is madness. I think it's absolute madness. People were just being beguiled by the almighty dollar. We've got a great conference. If we need to grow it somewhat, we'll grow it somewhat in response to what's happening elsewhere. But maintaining the regional loyalties, being able for the families to drive from Austin to Waco. I mean, this has just happened. I mean, we were in the stands yesterday for the baseball game. It is great for the Longhorns to be able to drive to Waco and for the Baylor Bears to be able to drive to Austin. It's a little bit farther to drive to Lubbock, but now that TCU is part of the, this is good, as opposed to you know, playing someone 2 time zones away.
Buddy, you know that despite having talked about stuff like academics, the headline of this conversation will be Big 12 solid. That will be the takeaway from this conversation.